This time, on Cruising with the 4Bs, we've gone all royal.
God, I hate it. No rockets going everywhere.
No, not that royal. This royal.
When the lights off, I get it lit. When I see you.
We have taken the score from Cruise Critic and TripAdvisor, put them all together and given them a score out of 10 to find out which Royal Caribbean ship you have decided in 2025 is the best and the worst. So let's get into it. Which did you decide was the best rated Royal Caribbean ship? It was Oasis of the Seas, and you voted it with your reviews, giving it 8.1 as the best Royal Caribbean ship. It's out of Fort Lauderdale in 2025 with 6 to 8 night cruises. It has a capacity of 6,700, was amplified in 2019. Zipliner, ice skating, 7 neighbourhoods. You loved the ship layout, you found it clean, as a friendly crew, activities for all ages, you found it impressive. That gets an 8.1 at number 1. At number 2, once again, you love this type of ship. It is the Oasis class and it's Allure of the Seas. Once again, 6,700. You love the design, the varied options of entertainment. Main dining room gets mentioned, friendly crew. Will it get even better score after 2025 when it gets amplified in February 2025? We start onto the Voyager class, the Marina of the Seas, out of Galveston, and it gets a score of 8.1. On board, you've got the Flow Rider, the Perfect Storm, the Skypad. It was amplified in 2018. What were the comments? Excellent service, it's great for a long weekend, it's clean, guests love the activities, the youth programme, the crew. At number 4, it did the World Cruise in 2024, so I reckon that's one of the reasons why it's so high up with a score of 8 out of 10 with 2,476 capacity. It's 7/8 of the Seas. It began its maiden in 2003. People absolutely loved the service on board, they loved the food, it was said it was in excellent condition, and that's what gives it the high mark. With a 7.9, would you believe it, another Oasis class ship. 6,680, it arrived in 2018, it does 7 night cruises out of Miami. Symphony of the Seas, which has on board the Ultimate Abyss, the Flow Rider, Zipliner, Aqua Theatre. Board, it's easy to navigate, you say, it's friendly service, varied amenities. People enjoyed the show on board, which is Broadway Hairspray. At number 6, with a score of 7.8, it's the new ship, the newest ship in the fleet, Utopia of the Seas. It's quite impressive to get a score of 7.8. It does 4 and 3 night party cruises out of Port Canaveral. You can head on the Royal Railway if you head on board Utopia of the Seas. 7, heading to Southampton in 2025. It's Independence of the Seas. It was amplified in 2018. Number 8, with a score of 7.8, also is Navigator of the Seas, which is out of Los Angeles in 2025. Harmony of the Seas out of Galveston, one of the Oasis class, another one in the top 10. 7 night cruises in 2025 and a capacity of 6,600. Freedom of the Seas out of Miami for short cruises, a 7.6. Freedom of the Seas is part of the Freedom class. It was amplified in 2020. Odyssey of the Seas is the first of the Quantum class, the Quantum Ultra. It arrived in 2021. We will see where the rest of the Quantum class is. That heads out of Rome, Europe in 2025. It's been doing that for a few years now. And number 12, Liberty of the Seas, 7.5, Freedom class. Out of Cape Liberty, Jewel of the Seas, out of Fort Lauderdale is 13, with an average score of 7.5. It's a Radiance class. 14, Enchantment of the Seas, a 7.4 Vision class, 2,700. One of the oldest, right smack bang in the middle, Enchantment of the Seas. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, press the subscribe if you love cruise content. It's completely free and we have plenty more in 2025. At number 15 is Adventure of the Seas with a 7.4 Voyager class. 16, Radiance of the Sea. You can head to Alaska from Vancouver. That has a 7.4, 2,466 capacity. It arrived on the scene in 2001. 17 is Voyager of the Seas. Surprisingly, it's of the Voyager class. Arrived in 1999 and will be heading to Europe in 2025. With a 7.3, it's Brilliant of the Seas at 18. At 19, Rhapsody of the Seas out of San Juan with a 7.3 Vision class, one of the oldest. So we're dropping down the list now. Arrived on the scene in 1997. Vision of the Seas, Vision class, 1998, out of Baltimore in 2025. That's got a score of 7.2. Anthem of the Seas, one of my favourites here at the 4Bs. That will be in Singapore at the start of 2025. In 2024, it did its last season out of Southampton. It got a 7.2, another low score for the Quantum class, arrived in 2015. The biggest ship in the world arrived in early 2024 with a score of 7.1, so a score far lower than Utopia of the Seas, which arrived in 2024 as well. It does short cruises out of Miami. At 23, it's Explorer of the Seas, heading to Europe with a 6.9, a Voyager class. An Oasis class ship, surprisingly, is down the list at 24. It's Wonder of the Seas with a low score of 6.9, Oasis class with 6,900 capacity to 7-night Port Canaveral cruises. What didn't they like to give it a low score? They didn't like the overcrowded. They said the limited pool availability, noise in the public areas, and I noticed overpricing of things on board. 25, Grandeur of the Seas, Vision class. Royal's oldest ship, it's approaching 30 years old, a capacity of 2,440. Is it about time it's retired? People didn't like the service on board. They said it smelt a bit, the food, there wasn't much to do, and it was showing its age. And that gets a 6.8. At 26 is Ovation of the Seas. On board this Quantum class ship, there's Virtual Adventure Zone, there's the Sky Plus, there is the... What didn't they like? Part of the problem was the extra costs on board. It has been down under in Australia and there was lots of complaints. They didn't like the food. They said it was a floating shopping mall. There was no promenade for them to walk around, and there was plenty of extra costs, which was causing extra costs when they are on board. 27, second worst rating, Spectrum of the Seas. Arrived in 2019. Now this could be, some say, is to do with cultural differences. It's been out of Asia for the past couple of years. It's got Splashaway Bay on board, Broadway shows. People were saying the food was very repetitive, long lines. There was problems with different cultures clashing, lots of people pushing in. Only 6.3. Once again, a ship that has been in Asia. Quantum of the Seas, with a capacity of 4,908. Gets 6.2. It arrived on the scene in 2014. It has the North Star movie screen, to name just a few amenities. People were saying they were bored on board. They were saying it was showing its age. Only a ship that is 10 years old. A lot of problems with the ports. They were saying a lot of the ports in Asia were industrial ports. There was nothing to do, so that could have been a problem. Again, there was cultural differences on board, which could cause some of these lowest scores. There was no variety on board. It's moving to Australia and Alaska. Hit the screen right now for another brilliant Royal Caribbean video.